spawning up here in the top right for CT6 in orange. Thank you. It is our British Zerg player, former admin of the CTL. He's been around forever. It is Roboboogie.
Woohoo! And his opponent spawning in the left side of the map as the teal Terran from Luck13. It is Stimcraft. And despite me and Stimcraft having a little argument in the chat, I promise to cast him completely unbiased as he loses and is terrible. Nah, I'll be nice.
So we just had a bunch of Reapers, attempted a bunch of Reapers, I should say, last game. Now we're on a map that's actually really good for Reapers. Could see a lot of that. I mean, it's a fun build against anybody. Just go for a lot of mass Reapers, especially on this map. It's so easy to get in multiple locations. A massive, massive cliff on this natural coming in from this third base location, and there's still a lot of open cliff space coming in from the natural. So Reapers can be a heck of a time to defend against, but I imagine Robo will tailor his build to be able to deal with that. Whether or not he goes for a hatch first or goes for that quicker pool, see here in a couple seconds.
And there is a lot to be gained from good Reapers and Prayers. You know, they are a really good unit, and although TBT and Mass, when it gets scouted, they might not be great, but Gold League especially, they can do a lot of damage. A well-placed Reaper, especially against a hatch first, if you can get the Reaper over there before the Queen hatches, I know from experience, it can suck a lot.
At the very least, Stimcraft will be making at least one Reaper, I imagine, if not two or three. There was a brief period of time where 3 Reaper openings were really, really popular in TVZ before the going into the factory, but they kind of went back to just normal 2 Reapers, kind of get the same amount of damage done. 3 Reapers was a kind of a hopeful surprise, if possible. But we have the first one on the way, pool on the way as well for Roboboogie. It was after the hatchery, however, so Queen is still a little ways away to deal with the Reaper, so Robo will have to have a little bit of micro help to not die to any of these Reapers, but that is also pending Stimcraft being able to do well with his own Reapers.
And Roboboogie, interesting placement for his pool over here. Not good. I'm sitting here trying to figure out, like, oh, maybe he did it because of this, maybe he did it because of this. Let's give some, like, good analysis. But I can't really figure it out. It's just an odd spawning pool placement.
Well, it's hard to drop right on top of the pool. If it were behind the mineral line, it's difficult to get a surround to protect your pool. So hanging out in the middle of this area, it's kind of nice because you don't. It's really hard for it to actually get surrounded and get killed off. But
it's Reaper also going to be the first thing that dies if something moves up the ramp.
That's true. Reaper's going to get a couple kills. Well, gets 1 kill. Now it's going to
get and lack of micro means dead Reaper, which is a big pickup for Roboboogie.
Yeah. Speaking of 3 Reaper opening, Stimcraft is getting a 3rd Reaper actually.
Oh. So I make a completely logical proxy Stargate call in game 1 and look like an idiot. You make a completely bull Wings of Liberty build that no one has used in years out of nowhere call, and he's like, oh yeah, better go through Reapers. You know, gotta make TB Ham look good.
What? No, I was talking about being good recently, but it's only good if you have a factory follow-up, and he doesn't have a factory right now.
Yeah, he does.
Okay, there's a factory, but that factory is very late.
It's late, absolutely.
I mean, it's late because of the 3rd Reaper, but losing the 1st Reaper kind of nullifies the fact that you got a 3rd one, so now it's kind of pointless. There's already Queens out, there's already 2 available, there's going to be a couple extra ones popping out here in just a second, so these Reapers aren't going to be able to get too much done. If there was a 3rd one, Queens do die pretty quickly. They would have to be microed back in a way just to stay alive, but there are 2 Queens up here in the main base now. Spreading creep.
Queen taking a quick minute to take a poop in between battles. He's like, I got time, I'll drop this tumor here and then start shooting.
It was totally going to work, except for the fact that the tumor got killed, so that was a waste of 25 energy.
Yeah, so there it goes.
Not killing the Reapers either.
Not the end of the world. Yeah. As long as we have this little lull in gameplay, has anyone ever told you that you sound kind of like one of the Game Grumps? I can't remember who's who, like Dan and Aaron voice-wise, but you kind of sound like one.
I've never even heard of those people, so...
Oh, you should take the time. I'm not being paid to advertise this, but yeah, they're basically Let's Players, but they're like kind of bad at video games, and they're very, very fun, very funny. Good guys. Yeah, you sound kind of like one of them.
Okay.
Yeah, anyway, Reaper's moving up into the pit of death, and one of them going down to the Queens and Spine Crawler.
So this 3 Reaper opening that has done more or less nothing. He got 1 drone kill. That's about it. Robo, he's going for a Spore Crawler in each of his bases, making sure he's nice and safe from everything, but there's no Banshees on the way. There is a Medevac on the way, and you know, these early Spore Crawlers can be really nice to deal with. Early drops just to push them away, force the Medevacs to have a very small window they can use, which is nice, but you know, it's kind of dependent on what Stimcraft decides to do. Doesn't have a ton of units out, really. I mean, Factory is actually making a tech lab. It looks like it may be a Banshee follow-up still. Do something, Starport.
Come on, we believe in you. Based on the position, I was assuming that it was going to be switched over to that tech lab, but
yeah, he hasn't done it yet. And he clicked on it. I saw him click on it. So.
I saw his little dotted circle come up. We know something's going to happen.
Yeah, but still no actual choice really out of either player about what their tech path is going to be. We do have the first 2 Evo Chambers coming up for the 2 Evo Chambers coming up for Roboboogie. No third hatchery, no third
other
base.
sets of 2.
Yeah, well, you never know.
He
needs the wall.
I need 6.
These things happen.
Oh, and a drop coming in. Medevac doing some weird AI movement there. That was interesting. Medevac needs to get out of the way before it dies, and it does.
That's Spore Crawler. It's so hard for a Medevac to maneuver around that. All these Marines are they're gonna attempt to
all
get
of
out,
that
but they're
for
gonna die.
3 drones. Just not worth it.
Yeah.
If this were Rotos on 1 base, 3 workers would be a great pickup. But it's Zerg. We make drones faster than you can say drone. So
I'm actually curious now.
There for Stimcraft.
He didn't. Stimcraft did not actually see the Hydrogen here. So he hasn't actually seen that it is going to be Roach Hydra, or at least you would assume so, getting the Hydrogen. I'm not sure why else you would. You guys could still be Ling Hydra.
I would hope from his knowledge of the roaches being there, he would be able to guess.
Well, roaches are generally a good idea just to defend off against aliens, so.
And to be fair, he didn't see the Roach Warren, and what was attacking that drop was overwhelmingly Lings. So there's actually a chance he didn't notice roaches.
Not a huge deal. I mean, Stimcraft actually has tanks on the way already. He is loading up yet another drop, but you know the overlord placement from Robo is pretty good. He's going to run the drops right next to these 2 overlords actually, so he's going to be able to transfer some units over there, but without any banelings and just some speedlings and roaches. And there is a tank within this drop, so it's going to be really annoying to actually clean up, get on top of it.
Especially tons of units moving over there already. Oh, he's not moving, but there's an overlord. He'll see it in plenty of time. He's okay. But okay, one more, and then I promise I'll be totally nice. Stimcraft making siege tanks in response to Roach is a good choice, but if I've learned anything from playing with him, that doesn't always matter.
So rude. Oh, is the tank actually going to siege?
Just
the
one.
tank is not actually going to siege.
I deserve one. No, it's not. Getting a little GDP there and playing the safe pickup. But if he can micro with this drop, I mean, that's a big enough drop to do some pretty significant damage if he can keep flying back and forth without taking too much damage. Oh, no!
Very cool. Oh, tank almost died.
God, tank, don't do that to me.
Then,
oh my god, tank.
Stimcraft, despite his
the
name, doesn't
3
have
health
stim
tank
right now, so without stim, these drops aren't able to do as much damage as they would like, and without even trying to make this siege tank a siege tank, he's going to lose his medevac. That's frightening.
Yeah. Oh man.
He's just bouncing back and forth. That's hilarious. There are Spore Crawlers now at the natural, so
and
medevac's dead.
There goes the full medevac. And there goes the other medevac.
Still no stim finished either, so I mean these units, they're nice, but they're not going to kill a bunch of drones here. They get 3, they get 4, but they are going to die to the rest of the units that are coming in for Roboboogie, and now Robo, he's not in a terrible position. He doesn't have much of an army just yet. He's still just trying to get up his economy. This is a really big army back here for Stimcraft.
Yeah, even with the less than stellar drops, Stimcraft has a pretty significant army advantage, and despite his upgrade disadvantage, I mean, he's got a lot of army right now. Would like to see 1-1 on the way soon, though.
Yeah, no upgrades at all from Stimcraft. That's definitely going to be an issue considering Robo is already on the way to 2-2. Getting you know, a massive upgrade advantage in this matchup, especially when it is going to be Roach Hydra. That's a huge deal. These units for Stimcraft, yeah, he's got a lot, but he only has 2 medevacs. 2 medics are not going to be able to heal all of this up very quickly at all. He's only got 1 tank to actually deal any sort of AoE damage to this, and very few Marauders, really. He's only got 9, but there's still such a small army here for Roboboogie. He hasn't been making an army, really. He's starting to now, but 82 army supply to 46 at the moment in favor of our Terran player.
And it looks like,
dropping.
You know, with Stim finished and +1 upgrades on the way, and Stimcraft is in an awesome position right now, especially with that positioning. More medevacs would be nice, more tanks would be nice, but the fact is he's still got a huge advantage, and even that 1 tank shot really tearing those Hydras. Hydras are not particularly good at taking damage.
No,
They've got DPS, but they do not have armor. Oh, but they do take out that Viking.
Well, the Viking wasn't necessarily useful.
No.
He wasn't going to be doing anything except, I guess, being annoying to some Overlords, which wasn't too much. But
Roboboogie
looks like he's trying to wait for 2-2, actually. He's going to finish up at 2-2 here in just a moment. Stimcraft still on 0-0. If 13 more Hydras on the way as well, that's going to be a huge advantage.
Roboboogie's going to have incredible DPS, but if with this number of Marauders, I don't think Roboboogie has what he needs. Hydras do a lot of damage per second, but they aren't really tough units as far as their ability to take damage goes. And Stimcraft needs to pick up this drop and get it out of the way, but that's too many Hydras. They'll kill the medevacs anyway.
Yeah, now Stimcraft has 0 medevacs. He's got 0 medevacs right now, and he's going to be facing up almost an even army almost. 92 armies played to 83.
That's scary.
2-2 finish for Roboboogie as well.
But if he can use this Stimcraft. No, he's moving out.
No, he's trying to run away from this, but, well, luckily these units aren't very, very quick off of creep, so they won't be able to chase us down.
Yeah, Roboboogie, I mean, these Hydra numbers are going to do incredible damage, but he needs to throw some Lings in and some Roaches in to take the damage, especially with tanks there. I mean, tanks are going to tear through basically anything he can, but if he has no damage soakers, it's going to be just torn apart Hydras really quick. He doesn't want to deal with that.
No.
He has Roaches and Lings on the way. Yay!
There you go, finally. He definitely needs something bulky to help out. He's got Pathogen Glands on the way. He's got a Spire on the way. His Hive is about halfway finished as well. Stimcraft does have a 3rd base landed, which is nice. He's got a 4th CC finishing up in the main base. There were a couple more factories in production to help out with this tank production. But still, with so few medevacs, I'm really, really scared for the longevity of Stimcraft's army in bulk.
Yeah, well, especially with the complete lack of vision that he has, Stimcraft in a good position if he sees things, but he doesn't. Oh, he's going to go for it anyway.
He's still in a decent position. Like, this is going to be difficult for Roboboogie to actually attack into. He's putting his Roaches out front, which is a wise idea. Tank not quite sieged up. Neither of them actually. Big Stim
great
goes
position
down.
from Stimcraft, waiting for his opponent to move into that choke, and Zerg is very, very bad fighting in choke points, so a lot of units going to go down very quickly.
Yeah, once those tanks were actually sieged and firing that engagement with the exact opposite direction, until then Robo had a really nice engagement happening. Oh my gosh, that is a Greater Spire coming in here. Are we going to see Broodlords in this matchup?
Are we going to see Flying Swarm Hosts?
Something like that.
It's one of my favorite units. Yeah, Flying Swarm Hosts.
He already has the Infestors out. He's already got 5 Infestors to deal with this, but what I'm trying to understand that. You got Infestors, that's cool. You can lock your opponent down, but you don't have any Banelings right now. You don't have any melee upgrades either, so you don't have any Baneling Nest down, do you? It's kind of frightening.
Oh yeah, no Baneling Nest against Bio is just a poor choice. The thing is, the Baneling Nest is never going to put you economically behind enough to really be a Bane, and it has the potential to win a game for you. And but Roboboogie here with the style points, if he can last to get Broodlords out, I mean, nothing would make me happier than to see some Air Swarm Hosts. They're fun.
Stimcraft's really, really careful with what he does in this engagement, though, because if he gets locked down by this...
good fungal!
Especially if he's outside of the tank range, and again, so few medics. There's 1 medic. All these units have no health.
Great engage from Roboboogie. Really good fungal to catch that first chunk of Marauders out. and enough here to just push right through these tanks, and suddenly Stimcraft on a very scary end of this.
Yeah, he's lost so many resources. 11,000 resources lost compared to 6.7k for Roboboogie. Roboboogie, despite not having much of a high-tech army, just Stimcraft doesn't like medevacs apparently. His units just completely just crashed and burned very, very quickly there. Getting locked down outside of the tank range as well allowed Roboboogie to get on top of some of those units and kill them off outside the tank fire. And then after that, it was just kind of a really bad.
Well, that engagement for Roboboogie. Broodlords. That Roboboogie engagement was the same as the previous Stimcraft engagement in the sense of, he was smart enough to wait just an extra second until his opponent pushed into a choke, and then he got the nice concave around him.
At the moment, Stimcraft's main issue is he has no gas. He's on 3 factories right now, and trying to produce out of that, and trying to produce medevacs at the same time. And he doesn't even have actually saturation of his gas at his natural, and obviously his third base only has a single gas taken, and only one person mining that gas. So, what is up?
I'm just ridiculously excited over Broodlords right now.
No, look over where I'm at right now. There are 19 SCVs chilling over there.
What? Oh, what are these guys doing?
Yeah, they're not doing anything helpful, that's for sure. But that's not really going to matter too much.
This is the first time I've realized Catalina's got a little beach feel to it, on the edges here. It looks like all these SCVs are just Bahamas. Quick vacation. You don't need us.
What they're waiting for.
You have meals.
That would explain why Stimcraft has 78 SCVs in such a low income right now. When you have that many of them not actually working, it's a bit difficult to actually produce. Right. Roboboogie is in a really wonderful position right now, despite he had no army to begin with. Had Stimcraft attacked, 15 minutes earlier than he did, he probably would have been in a really great position. But without actually attacking, Robo just kind of sat back, macroed up, and now he has these massive army. It's going to be really difficult to actually stop.
Yeah, but with Stimcraft making that 4th base, and that 4th base not being attacked right now, if he can survive long enough, he's going to be really economically ahead, but he would survive a lot better if he didn't engage in a choke. Oh, good decision to move back. It's a good surround, going to take out quite a few units here, but that upgrade advantage is not... It's just scary.
Pulling SCVs into this army as well. Still, so many of the infestors are alive right now. There's one tank shelling away. He's got 8 kills, but him alone is not going to do enough. Stimcraft has fallen below 100 supply now. He lost 22 workers down. And luckily, he does have this base left over, so he does have that working for him. His production is all still intact. He even has a Thor chilling over here to help with the Broodlords, but in a pretty rough spot right now. His +3's going to be finishing up, but he just doesn't have an army to actually help that out.
Roboboogie's bank right now and Roboboogie's econ, by the time, if Stimcraft got some great positioning and tore apart this army, if he killed everything that Roboboogie has, by the time Stimcraft could get back across the map, there would be another Zerg army.
Yeah. Big fungo goes down on all the pulled SCVs and all of that, and Stimcraft will have to call GG there. So Roboboogie, he does win this game. He will put CT6 up 3-2.
Roboboogie coming back from a scary early game. A lot of times there in the early game where he looked like he might lose it. Able to hold out, keep pushing, get the macro game going, and do what every Zerg loves to do best, and just outbase your opponent.